Hello my friends and welcome to the fishing boat miniature craft. Yes! All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Here we have all of these fun little bits and pieces. So what we have here is this right here is going to be the base piece that we're building our little miniature scene on. And you're gonna find that you have you should have 3 little fishies in your kit, and they are so cute. They are die cut, they're called a whittle fish, and they are precious. So the very first thing that we're going to do here is we're going to be sticking on this piece of glue paper onto the background. So I do recommend glue for this. You can use double-sided tape if you like, but we don't want to use a whole lot of glue. So that's probably the most important part there. So I'm going to do like just some little dots along the edges and maybe a little bit in the middle. If you use too much glue, you'll get that warping effect that happens that sometimes people see. So you want to just use a little bit of glue. This is PVA that we're using, which means it's very strong glue. So you really don't need very much. A little goes a long way. All right, so that's the very first thing that we're going to do there. We're going to stick that on. And then if you happen to have a black pen, that's going to be the next thing we're going to need. So you have to figure out on your sunshine here what part of the sunset kind of coloring you like. Do you like the yellow and the red, or do you like the red and the yellow? So once you've just kind of decided, you're going to draw a few little birds. So I'm going to make them a few different sizes, and that's just like an upside down W, not really an M, but you want to make it look like little flying birds in the background. Then on the bottom part of your little sunset, you're just going to fold that up so that way it kind of makes a little tab. You're going to put glue right here on that tab, the one that we are looking at right there. So at the top, when you're looking at it, the top of the tab, not the bottom. Then you're going to take your little base piece here and you're going to press it on there. That way the tab is glued at the bottom, right on the underside there. So that's what we have. All right, so we're going to set that to the side to dry. Now what we have here are all these other little bits and pieces. So we're going to start out here with our little fishing boat. So see how this is a little bit more narrow and this is a little bit more wide. We want it to be the wide part, right? So it's horizontal like this, so longer this way and shorter this way. We're going to take this and fold it in half like so. Then you're going to take a pair of scissors and you're just going to go, you don't want to go too far in, but I would say maybe like a 1/4 of an inch in from the side, and you're going to go up to that top corner. Flip this over and do the exact same thing, about a 1/4 of an inch in from the side, and then go up to the corner there, okay? Then what you're going to do is we're going to put glue here and here on the right and on the left, and I'm just going to do like a little line of glue, like so. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to press that in place on the left and right, and as I do so, I'm going to kind of squish it in like so to make it look more boat shape, all right? That's the idea we're going for, is want it to be a little boat, because it's supposed to be the fishing boat part. So that's a pretty important part, okay? Now we are going to use hot glue for this, for putting our boat together. So I've already plugged in my hot glue gun. If you have not already, you will want to do that now. All right, so we're going to put our boat to the side. Then we have this frayed piece of silver twine here. You're gonna go ahead and pull that apart so you end up with 3 little pieces. We're gonna come back to that in a minute with the little fishies, but we'll do that once we have the hot glue. All right, so now you have all of these pieces. Right here, you're gonna see there's a score line on all of your pieces of blue, the light blue and the dark blue. You're gonna wanna fold on that score line. I recommend doing it like this, where you press it down and then just fold up on the score line. That will make it go the fastest, rather than trying to sit there and individually fold it over and then get it to stick in place. If you just grab the edge up against the edge of your countertop there and press and fold it back, that would be the best, okay? All right. So what we're going to do is now we're going to squigglify all of these larger pieces. So you have the tab on the bottom, and then you have the larger piece of the wave on the top. These are waves. So you can make little squiggles. You can actually make like little true waves if you'd like. It's really up to you what you'd like to do. I think I'm going to make some that are true wave shape, and then I'm going to do others that are kind of just squiggly, just because I want it to be kind of fun. So I'm going to do all of my light blue with kind of the spiky waves, and I'm making them all different sizes because I want it to look like waves of an ocean, or maybe a lake, whatever you usually fish on. My dad fishes on all of those, so it could just be a nice little scene of nice relaxing fishing time, fishing vacation, whatever you'd like it to be. All right, so I have all of my blue pieces are cut out to be wave shape, and now my dark blue pieces are going to be next. I'm going to get these out of the way here, and I'm just going to squigglify these just like so, just because different kinds of waves and Also for timing wise, I don't want to sit there and cut out all the exact same kind of wave over and over. So this just makes it more fun and interesting. All right, got those two there, and I got one more. Okay, so once you have all your waves cut out, you can figure out what color you want to start with. I'm going to start with light blue. I'm going to go and I'm going to be doing I'm going to be putting glue on the bottom part of this tab, right? So you have the large part at the top, and then you have the little tab there. So you're going to be putting some glue just along that little tab, and you don't need a lot of glue. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually start at the front here, and I'm bringing that little tab flush with the front, okay? All right, it might hang off the edge a little bit, and that's okay. That's all right if it does. And if you're going to have it hang off the edge, you want to have it hang off the edge on both sides. All right, and then I'm going to put glue along this tab. So I'm going to be making a pattern here going dark blue, light blue. And as I stick my tab on, I'm actually bringing that right up to the edge of the next tab. So it's not touching the other wave, it's just that blue is touching the back side of where that other tab ended. And I know that's just a little bit confusing, but basically we end up as about a 1/4 inch between that light blue wave and the dark blue wave, okay? All right, now maybe you can see what I did here with the next one. I did the light blue, and once again, I'm putting that right up against the edge of my dark blue little wave. So you see how you can see that full tab when you pull back that dark blue wave, or when you look straight down, you can see, hopefully you guys can see that there. There is the dark blue tab is sitting right there, and the other light blue tab is right in front of that. So there's light blue, light blue, and there's the tabs that are shown in between, okay? All right, so now I'm gonna do the dark blue next. And you want to make sure these are right next to each other because we're going to need enough room for our sand in the background. All right, and then the light blue one is next. And then finally the dark blue one. All right, okay. So now that we have all of our tabs in place, we have our little waves, very fun. You can kind of press those flat to make sure they're all stuck down nice and good. All right, so now what we have here is we have seaweed, which is like, I think people usually refer to this as Easter grass because it's like that plasticky grass stuff. And then we also have back here our sand, which is actually just beige colored moss. It is real moss, it's actually reindeer moss, but it's like sand color, so it's kind of cool. So you're gonna wanna take your sand colored moss and kind of break it apart a little bit so that we don't have giant chunks that we're gonna be gluing down. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna hot glue on the sand and the seaweed next, okay? So for the seaweed part, the seaweed is gonna go right here behind this dark blue wave. So I'm gonna put a little bit of hot glue there, and then I'm gonna press on the seaweed. I almost called it Easter grass, but you know what I'm looking for. So hot glue is gonna go here next. So I have my hot glue gun. So it's right here all along where this blue, dark blue, right on the other side of the dark blue there. All right. And I don't want anyone to burn themselves. So if you're worried about burning yourself because maybe you're working with a kid or you're just not quite comfortable, that's okay. You can kind of set it on there, and then if you have like a skewer of some kind, or a dowel, you can actually use that to kind of press the seaweed in place. That way you're not using your fingers and possibly accidentally burning yourself, because I would hate for you guys to get burned. Okay, so I oftentimes will use this as like a little trick. That way it gets everything pressed in place, but then I'm not burning myself. All right, so once that's in place, then we're gonna do the same thing with the seaweed. So you wanna make sure you're not to have too much of the seaweed in the place, but we're going to add in our little sand next. We're going to put a little bit of hot glue back here between where the seaweed is and the sunset. All right. Again, I don't want anyone to get burned, so I would recommend maybe setting down where the sand, which is the moss, and then kind of in the background back here. And then if you're worried about burning yourself, you can always press it down with the skewer, so then that way it gets nice and stuck really good onto that hot glue back there. So that's really the only thing that will glue the moss in place, but I really don't want anyone to get hurt. Okay, so now we have our little scene. It's time for the fishing boat. Okay, so I'm gonna push all of the rest of this out of the way here. All right, so for the little fishing boat, first thing we're gonna do, oh goodness, I lost my little toothpick. There it is. You need the toothpick. So I'm gonna actually take my toothpick, I'm gonna break it so that my fishing pole is about this long. I'm gonna put a little bit of hot glue on this end, the pokey end here. And I just have like a little drop of hot glue. I know it's really hard to see. I'm actually gonna grab one of these little strands here, and I'm gonna hold the end of the strand down onto the toothpick, and the rest of the strand I'm actually just going to wrap around the end of the little fishing pole, which is actually a toothpick. So I'm gonna kind of press that there, kind of hold it there for just a moment so that way it doesn't come undone. And then I'm just gonna use my scissors to trim that bottom part of that little twine. Okay, so now you have a stick with a little string on it, which is our fishing pole. I know it's really hard to see, but just trust me, that's what it is. And then what we're gonna do here is I'm actually gonna put a fish on the end of my little string. So you can decide where you want to put that. I'm gonna put hot glue actually on the back side of one of my little fishies to make sure you don't burn yourself because it is hot. And I think I want my fish to be like right there on the fishing pole. So I'm gonna need to probably trim the extra little string that's hanging off underneath that fish. All right. Okay, so this is what we're going for. So we have a little fishing pole with a little fish on the end, okay? I'm gonna put hot glue on the bottom part of the fishing pole. And then I'm just gonna stick it in my boat and kind of press it up against the edge of the side so that way we have our boat and we have our little fish on a fishing pole hanging off of the edge there. Now I'm going to be making the little fish that are on like a little string, all the ones that we've already caught. So in order to do that here, I have 2 strings. I'm gonna put a fish on the bottom of each of the little pieces of twine. So to do that, I'm gonna put hot glue on the back side of the little fishies. And then I'm just gonna press the twine to that while that dries. I'm gonna do the same thing with the other one. Hot glue on the back side of the little fishy. And I'm gonna grab the other twine and just press it on there. There we go. I don't want anyone to get burned, so we'll just let that dry. Oh goodness, flipped right over onto my background. That's okay. All right, so we're gonna have those to the side. All right, while those are drying, I'm gonna glue my boat in place. So I'm gonna put hot glue just along the bottom of my boat, right along that base. And then I'm gonna stick it between a couple of waves. So I'm just gonna stick it right here. All right, looking good. And then we have my little fish that's in the water, so cute. So it's like I'm currently fishing, adorable. Then I'm gonna come over here, I'm gonna trim off the twine that's on the bottom side of the fish, like over on the tail end of the fish, because obviously once the fish has gotten a bite, it's most likely not gonna be halfway up the twine. And now I'm gonna take my twines, the little strands that are left, if I can tie a knot, which I can, and if you can't, that's okay, you can glue yours together. So we have a couple little knots, and then I'm just gonna glue, I'm gonna trim close to that knot, and then I'm gonna put glue on that knot. And here I'm gonna use my skewer again. I'm gonna take that knot that has all the glue on it, I'm gonna put it inside my boat, and I'm gonna kind of use the skewer to kind of press that to the bottom there. So then that way, can't really see where that knot is at, but it's glued in place down there. All right, and now we have our adorable little miniature fishing boat scene. What do I call it? Fishing boat miniature scene, there we are. So we have our little boat with little fishies in it, and then we have the fish on the fishing pole. Yes, oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so thrilled with this craft. It's so cute. Oh my gosh, makes me so happy. All right, friends, I hope you enjoyed making the craft too. And as always, we have little kits available up on our website, so you can head over there to check out and see all the fun things we're doing. Hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.